Today we're talking roofs and insurance. This is the Phoenix Insurance Channel. I'm Justin.
And I am Aaron.
And this is our friend Chris from Verde Roofing. And we brought Chris in because for a lot of homeowners, the first time they really think about dealing with a roofer is when they absolutely need it. So Chris, happy to have you here today. Tell us a little bit about Verde Roofing and what you do.
So Verde Roofing is a full-service roofing shop. We handle everything from residential roofing to multifamily to large commercial jobs. So we like to say from outhouse to doghouse to your big commercial building, we roof it all.
And one of the things you like to say is, oh, hail.
Oh, hail. If you're in North Texas, you know that sound. You know that pinging on your windows, and you're out there with your blankets trying to protect your cars, but imagine what's happening to your home.
Yeah, a lot is happening in your home right now, and when you're looking at the renewal bills, I think you're saying, oh, something other than hail.
You bet. The bills are up because roofing has really become a challenge here in North Texas. With all the growth that we have, there are way more roofs before than there were every single day, and that changes how much damage is done by hailstorms.
And most of them are pretty new, and I bet if you searched long and hard, if we did a little man on the street, asked a bunch of people, I bet it would be hard for us to find 100 people and find any decent quantity of people who have actually paid for their own roof. Insurance has replaced most of the roofs in North Texas.
Very, very true. Very true. I mean, we've gone through storms. I remember about 4 years ago in Lake Highlands where almost everybody in Lake Highlands got a brand new roof due to that storm. So it's definitely a main issue here.
Now, let me ask you your honest opinion.
Okay.
Did every one of those people need a roof, do you think?
On that particular storm, most of them did, I would say. The good thing about living in North Texas is the tie does go to the insured. And so, if there's a claim to be made, most of the times your insurance will go ahead and approve that.
Yeah, now this video is not going to be a mudslinging fest where we're going to talk bad about insurance companies or we're going to talk bad about roofing. Really, they both have their part in the market. This is two vital industries for homeowners. We just want to help people understand a little bit more about both sides of this equation. Because the roofing, everybody needed a new roof at that time. As we're seeing right now with our homeowners policies, things are going to change within that definition of need.
Right. I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more cosmetic exclusions. I know that we're going to start seeing higher deductibles, and I am pretty sure that we're going to see a lot more roof schedules. That means that you're not just going to get a new roof if your roof is after a certain age old.
So, Chris, how is that going to affect homeowners?
So, I mean, I think there's a give and take, on it. I mean, some people have been taking advantage of the system. Just because there was hail on your roof doesn't necessarily needs to be replaced. The roof is doing its job. It's outside and it's designed for that. But, in terms of, how that's going to limit, we see a lot of pushback right now in the market from the adjusters that are coming out, and they're pushing back harder than I've ever seen them push back on.
Have you noticed a difference in the responsiveness of adjusters? We saw one of the major insurance carriers in the U.S. laid off 2,400 employees, and half of those people were claims adjusters, 1,200 claims adjusters nationwide. Have you seen any kind of effect like that from insurance companies?
Well, we're certainly seeing some newer adjusters out in the market. We're definitely noticing this season a much greater timetable. Whereas before we would send in, our paperwork and it'd be back to us in 2 weeks. Now we're seeing that pushed out to 3 weeks, sometimes even a month before they're getting back to us. But, it's also, just not in a vacuum where they're just looking at North Texas hail. They're also having to do with fires and hurricanes. And so, all the damage that we're having across the U.S. is really putting a strain on the system.
Absolutely.
So Chris, I'm curious, without insurance, you and I have houses that are roughly the same size. What would a roof on a house like yours or mine cost-ish if I'm paying for it? Pay for mine, not for yours.
Probably looking at around, like him to pay for both of them, you know what I mean? What a guy, Justin. But I would say, probably looking at about $22,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's important to have that insurance in place.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's a big ask. So
right now in North Texas, we've got most carriers have a minimum 1% deductible for wind and hail damage. So that means 1% of your dwelling coverage is what you're going to have to pay for the replacement of your roof, if you do have a roof replacement. What is your experience with homeowners? In some cases, that can be $2,500, but in other cases, it can be $3,500, $4,000, $5,000, and certainly more. It's just what the percentage of your home dwelling coverage is. Have you seen any challenges from homeowners at being able to meet a 1% deductible?
Yeah, we do. Obviously it's not as common as when you get to the 2 and the 3% deductibles, but we do experience some challenges from some homeowners there. I highly recommend anybody listening, make sure if you can obtain a 1%, get one, because what we're hearing from some homeowners is, that wasn't an option, or, they said my roof was too old, and I got bumped up to a 2%, and then kind of talking about going back to the scheduled policies, ACB policies, and things of that nature.
We were talking to a regional director of one of our insurance companies the other day, and his opinion was that what has really screwed the North Texas homeowner specifically is when they started treating homes like cars and cosmetic things became part of it. Is your fence really damaged by that hail? Is it really not going to do its job anymore? Now, certainly if you have softball-sized hail, that's a whole different conversation. But for your average hailstorm, there's no need to replace that fence. Frankly, if it's not cosmetic, how many roofs would you not replace?
This is really not too dissimilar from the mold crisis that went through it here. It was covered in the policy, and if it's covered in the policy, I don't think anybody should be surprised that homeowners and contractors are going to use that coverage to fix the house. I mean, nobody really sees this coming. This is the intangible part. We're all suffering, all homeowners right now. People are seeing giant rate increases. You talk to people all the time with a 40% rate increase on their home insurance. And there's plenty of people out there with a 100% rate increase on their homeowners. It really is the inevitable, but it's also so hard from the consumer side to avoid taking advantage of the thing that everybody else is. In the mold crisis, everybody took advantage of that. A lot of people got new bathrooms when it really should not have been a claim. They should have just used some Mildex or bleach or whatever to get that out of there.
Yeah, I just went through one of those myself, as you know, and I was able to head it off.
And as a homeowner, you do that sometimes. So you got to take it on the chin sometimes.
Absolutely. It's all about protecting your property. You don't want claims. I mean, these guys are the experts. We could do a whole show on that. But, one thing that I would say is, if we are going to make a claim as a contractor, I have a duty to my client to maximize that claim.
Yep.
And I want what the insurance or the insured wants is, the insurance is responsible for everything that's covered under that, not a penny more, not a penny less. That's what we're doing. But my biggest problem as a contractor right now is, it used to be even 5 years ago, I felt like that the policies were so similar and so kind of general. Now I'm getting into these just, this policy does this policy will do a price increase. A lot of times we'll come out after a storm and the homeowner will say, hey, I want to wait and get my roof done, until summer, till after hail season. Like there's such a thing in Texas. You get hail all the time here, but that's the mindset. And you guys have heard that.
It's even directed from the insurance carriers, even the adjusters at times. I mean, if we do have somebody who has a storm at the beginning of it, that's one area where insurance carriers were actually in lockstep with contractors. Now, maybe not all contractors. Some of them might want to actually put 2 roofs on within one season. Yeah. But the good ones certainly say they give that advice. The good insurance carriers give that advice. Nowadays, to your point, the policies are changing so fast. You shouldn't wait a few months. It might go to renewal and suddenly you have less coverage.
Well, what I'm seeing is all of a sudden, there's a price list for, let's say, April. I get a price increase in May. Well, then they decide to put it on in August. Well, now some of these insurance companies are saying, well, we're only going to honor the April price. So who's responsible for that difference? The contractor? No, I've got a roof. Unfortunately, then that burden goes back on the homeowner. And so trying to bridge that gap and to come to some happy medium is what I would like to see.
Well, that's the real world challenge that a lot of consumers aren't seeing right now. Your prices are increasing month by month. And really, that's what's happening, and insurance companies absolutely have to account for it. And it's impossible. They can't guess what it's going to be in June versus April. So I have to make you sing for your supper now, Chris. So we always want to give the people that are watching a couple tips from the experts. We've given them a ton of insurance tips, so we're spent. Give me a couple tips for our folks so that they can really navigate the roofing side.
Absolutely. I would say first and foremost, always hire a local contractor, right? Like, do you go to a gym if it's 20 miles out of your way? No, you barely go to the gym when it's a mile away from your house. So hire local, double check that they're insured, right? I mean, we're in the middle of an insurance.
I endorsed this comment.
Double check, make sure. I give all of my clients a copy of my insurance paperwork and say, please feel free to email this, verify that what is good, what I say is good is good. So that's the one big thing about hiring. I would say those two things, you're going to save yourselves a lot of headache. And then obviously the third is, do your research, talk to your friends, what was your experience with them? Check out some reviews online. Those are all great tips. Another thing is, you never want to make an insurance claim, in my opinion, without having a professional come out and say, yes, this is enough damage, because as you guys know, once you ring that bell, it's hard to unring it. And you don't, again, you're not wasting anybody's time, but you want to make sure that you have enough damage there. So call that local contractor, call us, we'll come out, we'll walk the property with you, and you can see, what's going on with your property.
Roofers all have very nice trucks, and they would be happy to drive them over to your house, get on the roof, and check it out.
So I know one thing that you do for our clients is you go out and do an inspection with photographs and all that sort of stuff. How important is that for the homeowner?
I think it's huge. I mean, I think it's good practice to do at your home in general once a year, right? Like just say every January, you just run through the house and take a picture of your current condition. So if you're going to do that in your house, why wouldn't you do that up on your roof? Because one thing that I hate hearing from adjusters or companies is they say, well, this is old damage. Well, how do I know that, right? If I've never been to the property before. But if we have a third-party documented report that says, hey, Chris with Verde Roofing was out here on this date, and this was the condition of the roof, and we have multiple pictures, then it's really easy to see the changes over the years. So it's one of those things where it's just really, you're just documenting it so you have all the information possible so the insurance can make an informed.
Well, I mean, your roof is a maintenance item like anything else.
Absolutely it is. The one thing that I hear for people is like, oh, I've got a 30-year roof. You've got a 30-year shingle up there in most cases, right? But the silicone that's up there, the sealant that's up there, if you live in North Texas, your house is moving because of the soil that we have here, and your roof is moving. So that sealant opens up, that creates nail pops, and that water will find a way into your house. So I highly recommend you have your roof checked out.
Yeah, because that would not even be an insurance claim.
Nope. No, definitely not. It's a maintenance item, right?
Exactly.
You guys are the experts, but maintenance item, and so again, you want to know, in a lot of these roofs, right? If you are in North Texas, you say you live in Frisco or Prosper, they're like this. You're not getting up on your roof. Gone are those days. Sometimes it's only 2-story access. Most people don't even have a ladder that goes that high. So get a professional, get somebody that's trained to go up on your roof, have them document the coverage.
And make sure they've got workers' comp in case they fall off so they don't sue you.
That's a great one. Dreams are a great thing to have as well. When you talk to your... Another thing that I say, sorry to jump in on you there, but this is just really important. The less people on your roof, the better. Don't just let somebody that knocks on your door up on your roof. You talk about the insurance implications, the liability implications, but I've seen people, they don't know how to walk on the roof. Maybe they were never trained, and they can actually do more damage just by getting up there than by not.
Yeah.
So why don't we send up technology, a drone, and then we'll survey it, go and zoom in. If we have a problem, then we get on the roof. less liability for me as a business owner, less liability for you as a homeowner.
That is a great point right there. So I hope you stay tuned till the very end to catch that. Hope you learned something about roofs and a little bit about insurance. I know it's affecting us all right now, but if you subscribe, we will have more great tips like this. Come back and see us.
We've got links to Chris's website down below, so if you're in North Texas and need a roofer, please reach out to him. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks so much.